Hey guys, thank you for watching the SlatRock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And if you've already done so, just make sure that it's still active. Today we present you with 15 behind-the-scenes WWE incidents you won't believe happened. Number 15. Orton gets caught on tape. Randy Orton may be one of the most recognizable stars in WWE history, but things weren't always as good for the Apex Predator. Joining OVW in 2001, Orton had the wrestling business in his blood, being the son of Cowboy Bob Orton and the grandson of Bob Orton Sr. But despite this pedigree, the future legend killer was not sold on the business, with Jim Cornette once revealing a time when Orton was in OVW. He said he was only going to the developmental brand for the money and had no intentions on becoming a superstar. Little did Orton know that the entire rant had been recorded and was later shown to several backstage officials. After a meeting with higher-ups and a $750 fine, the issues were resolved, and Orton quickly learned something about respecting the business before becoming a 13-time world champion. Number 14. Roman sends a message to CM Punk. Roman Reigns and CM Punk may both be former world champions but have come from very different worlds. Punk came up from the independent scene and was reportedly told he'd never make it in WWE, while Roman joined the company with a wealth of support and has become one of the WWE's top stars. A locker room leader from his football days, Reigns has taken this role in WWE seriously, even kicking Enzo Amore out of the locker room after the Certified G became too unbearable to fellow superstars. But before he even entered the main event, the big dog knew there were big things ahead for him, and has even admitted that he told CM Punk that he would be the next locker room leader and would leave it better than he had found it. Harsh words for sure, but to be fair, there's not too many superstars with bad things to say about the big dog. Number 13. Carmellsworth Begins. If you're going to make it in WWE, you need to be behind your character 100% no matter what. One shining example of this is Carmella, who changed herself entirely when she turned heel, not long after joining SmackDown Live. Not just satisfied with a new look and moveset, it was the Staten Island Princess's idea to bring James Ellsworth on board as her manager, following his storyline with AJ Styles and Dean Ambrose. Ellsworth loved the idea, as the company agreed to partner the two together, with the Chinless Wonder proving to be a crucial part of Carmella's time as a heel. Even the biggest victory of Carmella's career, when she became the first Miss Money in the Bank, came thanks to Ellsworth, proving how well they worked together. Number 12. Kevin Owens' Singlet. With his larger frame and intense style, many thought that Kevin Owens would never make it to WWE. But when Owen signed a deal with the company in 2014, those doubters were proven wrong, though he was worried about making some changes. The biggest of these changes came when WWE requested Owens wear actual ring gear instead of his standard baseball shorts and t-shirt that he had rocked as Kevin Steen on the Indies. But for all his flaws, it was Enzo Amore who saved the day on this occasion, telling the future Universal Champion to be himself and ditch the awful singlet he was going to wear. Thankfully, Owens agreed, though the image of seeing the Canadian superstar in a tight singlet would have definitely scared plenty of his opponents into submission before the bell had even rung. Number 11. Jericho botches the shooting star press. For over 20 years, Chris Jericho has amazed fans with his incredible skills, with Jericho being famous for 1,004 holds. But when he was breaking into the business with Lance Storm, Jericho tried to add to this list, believing he needed some high-risk maneuver to get over with the crowd. After being suggested the shooting star press by Ultimo Dragon, Jericho believed he could hit the move, as he had done it plenty of times off a diving board. Now, as many of you will know, a diving board and a wrestling ring are two very different things, as Jericho would attempt the move the day before a show run by Jim Cornette. In one of his biggest mistakes, Jericho landed terribly, breaking his arm, but somehow still went on to compete with one arm the next night, showing that he was a true professional through and through. Number 10. Goldust levels the hot rod with his car. When Dustin Rhodes left WCW for the World Wrestling Federation, he knew he wanted to stand out. And stand out he did, as the bizarre Goldust who blurred the lines of what was acceptable long before the Attitude Era. Unfortunately for the Golden One, this envelope-pushing identity left many WWE superstars hesitant to work with him, with Roddy Piper stepping up to face him at WrestleMania 12. In their now infamous Backlot Brawl, the bout saw many real incidents occur, including Goldust requesting a real punch by the Hot Rod, with Piper breaking his hand on Rhodes' head. Things would go from bad to worse, as Goldust, driving his own car, painted gold of course, ran down Piper, who was supposed to dive out of the way. While the match would continue and be one of the most memorable bouts from the show, Goldust has admitted thinking that he genuinely murdered his opponent at the biggest show of the year. Number 9. Zayn's Tearful Bike Ride. An established star on the independent scene, Sami Zayn reached the pinnacle of his career in 2013 when he signed a deal with WWE. But before the ink had even dried on the contract, Zayn was forced to undergo a series of changes, including moving to Florida so he could live near the Performance Center. The worst change of all, though, was finding out that the company would not be using his El Generico character, which Zayn had used for years on the indie scene and had been a massive success. While in a seminar on cutting promos, the future NXT champion would flex his talents, dropping an epic monologue where he retired the character. Overcome with emotions, Zayn has said that he rode his bike back to his new home in tears, but maintained the story that Generico left wrestling in 2013 to help some orphans in Mexico. Number 8. The Rock runs out the clock. We all know that Dwayne Johnson is one of the biggest superstars in wrestling and in Hollywood, with his incredible physique, natural charisma, and gift of gab helping him become a huge success. But according to the Hurricane, the Brahma Bull wasn't afraid to bend the rules in the WWE to help younger talent. In an interview, the WWE superhero said that the Great One would repeatedly mess up his lines during a pre-taped segment between the two, much to the shock of all those in attendance. When Hurricane asked about it, Rock told him that he was making sure the segment would have to be filmed live, allowing both men more time. Instead of a 90-second pre-taped segment, the live version went nearly 4 minutes long, allowing the Hurricane to get one over on the People's Champion, but proving that The Rock truly is in a class of his own. Number 7. Dawson nearly calls it quits. As a member of the Revival, no one can deny Scott Dawson's intensity, in or out of the ring. Before joining WWE, Dawson was a hard worker, juggling school, work, and wrestling before moving to Japan to get some experience. After his time in the country was over, Dawson had said he was ready to quit on the squared circle and planned on living a normal life with his wife. That was until William Regal emailed the future NXT Tag Team Champion, saying that the company was interested in hiring him, a genuine shock as Dawson didn't even know he was on the company's radar. Obviously, Dawson joined the company, teaming with Dash Wilder in NXT before moving to Raw, with Dawson still being able to get married and start a family, but living out his dream job at the same time. Number 6. The Nature Boy keeps his distance. Critics of Charlotte Flair have often said that she's only in the position she's in today thanks to her Hall of Fame father, Ric Flair. But what they probably don't know is that during the Queen's early career, both Flairs kept their distance, with Charlotte revealing on Edge and Christian's podcast that she would rarely talk to her father about anything wrestling, instead getting advice from trainers. The former Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion admitted that her father didn't exactly view women's wrestling highly during her early career, which only caused more friction between the two. This all changed, however, when the Nature Boy saw his princess win the NXT Women's Championship in 2014 and was overwhelmed with emotion. With both Flairs in tears of joy, the friction between them dissolved, and the two-time WWE Hall of Famer has since gone on to become his daughter's biggest fan. Number 5. Vince loves potty humor. Even though he's a multi-billionaire and the owner of the company, Vince McMahon isn't afraid to josh around with the superstars who work for him, often with hilarious consequences. And in one incident involving Edge, Christian, and the Hurricane, the boss showed his second love behind pro wrestling is potty humor. According to the Rated R superstar, Edge had eaten a protein-filled meal before hitting the road with Christian and Hurricane. Now, some of you more knowledgeable fans may know what comes next, as the protein made Edge extremely gassy, and after blowing wind, stunk up the car so much that the hurricane jumped out of the car to escape. When Edge told the story to the boss, McMahon found it hilarious, even joking with the hurricane about just how deadly a superstar's butt can be. He may be a multi-billionaire, but he's still the same old Vince McMahon. Number 4. Kurt returns after 11 years. The return of Kurt Angle was a long time coming, with both Angle and the company seemingly burying all previous grudges formed in his 11-year absence. But things were not always as good, as it was Kurt who first requested to return to the WWE, but after a stint in rehab, the company wanted nothing to do with him. Fortunately, Angle persevered and eventually got a call from Triple H, who said the company now did want the Olympian back, but they weren't sure what role they'd have for him. Visiting WWE headquarters in Connecticut, Angle was rightly worried, as he had not seen McMahon since leaving due to drug issues in 2006. But the second the two met, the chairman embraced Angle like a long-lost son, with Kurt apologizing for his past misdeeds, and helped lay the foundation for what would be Angle rightly entering the WWE Hall of Fame. Number 3. Shane calls his dad at 3 a.m. This is a story that many of you already know, thanks to its inclusion on the WWE Network show Storytime, but it just goes to show how weird life on the road can be. When Shane McMahon was traveling on the road with the Dudleys and Tommy Dreamer, the SmackDown commissioner decided that 3 a.m. was the perfect time to call his father Vince. Despite Bubba telling him no, a slightly drunk Shane O'Mac did just that and tossed the phone to the future Impact World Champion, who was at a loss for words. Fortunately, Bubba wouldn't be the worst victim of this prank, as the phone was later tossed to Spike Dudley, who was truly wasted and didn't believe that Vince was on the line. Speaking to TMZ, Bubba Ray said how the runt of the Dudley family asked Vince to hook him up with some weed, but threw the phone away quickly when he realized that this really was the boss. Number 2. The Shield's travel woes. Joey Mercury may have had some success as part of M&M, but after stepping away from the ring, the former tag team champion put his creative mind to good use and gave the fans the Shield. Not only responsible for the idea behind the trio, Mercury also suggested that the trio should be together at all times, even when on the road. Maintaining kayfabe, the group were always together, with Rollins being the main driver until the group disbanded in 2014. Once they did, though, everything changed, as the group were told to no longer be seen together, with Bo Dallas replacing the Architect as the new travel buddy of Reigns and Ambrose. Rollins has even recalled once seeing Reigns, Ambrose, and Bo stranded on the road, but decided not to pick them up, maintaining kayfabe, in what must have been a very difficult decision for the Kingslayer. Number 1. John Cena fired? He may be the biggest star in wrestling history, but there was a time where things weren't too certain for John Cena. Debuting in 2002 as the answer to Vince McMahon's demand for ruthless aggression, Cena impressed in his debut match against Kurt Angle, but wasn't victorious. In the months that followed, the future WWE champion failed to dazzle in the ring, and with his bland look and non-existent promo time, it seemed that Cena's days were numbered. That was until Stephanie McMahon heard Cena rapping on the WWE tour bus and was so impressed she asked Big Match John to freestyle on SmackDown. This completely saved Cena, who has admitted himself that he would have been released, if not for Stephanie, with the freestyle skills Cena showed helping to transition him into his rapper gimmick. Cena survived the year, won the WWE Championship in 2005, and the rest is history. Well guys, that's our list. If you can think of any other behind-the-scenes WWE incidents that your fellow viewers or us wouldn't believe happened, drop us a comment below and let us know. If you like this video, don't forget to check out our previous video, 15 WWE photos we can never unsee. Also check out our other high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. If you indeed like this video, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you don't miss a single new video. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and as always, thank you for watching.